All right, everyone, get ready, because today we are taking a deep dive into Phantasma.
Ooh, yes.
It's the first book in the Wicked Games series by Kaylee Smith. We're using the Amazon page for this deep dive. And just a heads up, this one kind of got me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really into this description.
Nice.
So we're dealing with a haunted mansion.
I love a haunted mansion.
I know, in New Orleans. And there's a competition going on where if you win, you get a wish.
Oh, very cool.
And there's this mysterious stranger that might be the only hope for our main character, Ophelia.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I was hooked. I'm like, sign me up. Let's do this.
Yeah, it sounds like it has all the elements, right? Like that darkness and romance that we know everyone loves.
Yeah.
But it's also taking those like classic fairy tale tropes and twisting them a little bit, you know? Like making a bargain with a mysterious figure that's in so many fairy tales. But this one is a lot darker.
Yeah.
They're talking necromancers, demons, trials based on the 9 circles of hell. Yeah, so this is not your average fairy tale.
Okay, so let's get into some more specifics here.
All right.
Ophelia, who's our main character, is trying to save her sister who's vanished.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And to do that, she enters this contest. It's called Phantasma.
Okay.
And it takes place inside this super creepy haunted mansion.
Oh, I love that.
I know, so good. So, and here's where it gets good. She makes a deal with this guy named Blackwell. And he is this shadowy figure.
Okay.
Who says that he'll help her navigate these deadly trials.
So she needs his help.
Yeah, but of course it comes at a price, right?
Naturally.
And reading through these reviews, I get the sense that he's not your, like, typical knight in shining armor.
No, not at all.
He sounds kind of shady.
Yeah, and this is something that I thought was really cool. A lot of readers are comparing him to Rysand.
Oh, really?
From A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he's very powerful and brooding with this very possessive side to him. And there's almost this touch her and die kind of vibe he gives off towards Ophelia. Which, you know, I'm not sure if it's like genuine protection or if it's something a little bit more sinister, you know?
A little creepy.
Yeah, a little creepy. But it definitely makes their relationship more tense.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of tension, the reviews are calling this book addictive.
It sounds
like a roller coaster of emotions.
Oh, I love that.
People were saying they're staying up all night, ignoring all their responsibilities just to find out what happens. And can we talk about the setting for a second?
Yes.
New Orleans.
Ooh, come on. It's perfect.
It's so perfect. We've got necromancy, haunted mansions, dark secrets lurking around every corner. Like that gothic vibe is just chef's kiss.
It's the perfect backdrop for this kind of story.
Totally.
You know what else really stood out to me?
What's that?
The fact that Ophelia has OCD and she's battling it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It's not just all the supernatural terrors in the mansion. She's also battling like her own internal demons. And that just adds a whole other layer to everything going on. And from what I saw in the reviews, it's done really well.
That's great.
Like they're saying it's not just there for drama.
Yeah.
It's an important part of her character.
That's awesome. And it makes me think about this too. You know, it's one thing to create a really cool magical world with danger and everything, but it's another thing to create characters that you actually care about.
Yeah.
You know, that you're rooting for. And speaking of characters, we can't forget about Ophelia's sister, Genevieve. Because the reason that Ophelia is doing all of this is to save her sister. And from what I was reading in the reviews, it sounds like Genevieve is not just a damsel in distress.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she's got like her own quirks. And she's got this wicked sense of humor, apparently.
I like that.
Yeah. And their sisterly bond sounds like it adds a lot of heart to the story.
Oh, that's nice. And then you've got Blackwell, right?
Right.
This mysterious phantom.
Who's helping her.
Yeah.
But we don't really know if he's good or bad.
Exactly. He's got that whole dangerous but irresistible thing going on.
Yes.
And the reviews are hinting at a slow burn romance.
I love a slow burn.
Me too.
Yeah.
Full of spice and forbidden longing.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, all that push and pull that keeps you coming back for more.
Right.
But the biggest question is, can she really trust him?
Yeah. Is he really on her side, or does he have his own agenda? Because I'm getting deal with the devil vibes from this whole thing.
Right.
Like, that never really ends well.
Never.
And speaking of the devil, the trials that Ophelia has to go through are literally based on the 9 circles of hell.
Oh, wow. So they're not messing around.
No, they're not. So it's not just like physical challenges that she's facing. She's going to have to confront some pretty serious moral dilemmas, like lust, gluttony, greed, all that good stuff.
Oh, I see.
And each one is going to push her to her limits. And it's going to force her to question what she's willing to sacrifice to save her sister.
That's intense.
Yeah, it's heavy stuff.
It really raises the stakes and makes you wonder, like, what kind of person is she going to become by the end of all this?
Right.
Is she going to maintain her morals, or is she going to succumb to all the darkness?
Ooh, good question. And you know what else I thought was interesting?
What's that?
There were all these mentions of these symbols, like a key and a heart. And the reviews were being pretty cryptic about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like they're somehow connected to Blackwell and the true nature of Phantasma itself.
Ooh, very mysterious.
Right. So I'm thinking like maybe the key represents power.
Okay.
And the heart represents love or sacrifice.
Interesting.
But who knows?
Yeah, it's like a puzzle we have to figure out.
Yeah. And they're giving us little pieces, but not the whole thing. Now, another thing I thought was cool about this world is there's all these mentions of long dresses and corsets.
Ah, I love that.
Right. Which gives it that like Gothic Victorian feel. But then there's also mentions of cars and a more like modern view of sexual freedom.
So it's like a blend.
It's a really cool blend. Like she's taken elements from different times and put them all together.
To create something new.
Exactly. It's very cool. Okay, so to recap, we have a strong female lead.
Yes.
Who's battling her own demons.
Internal and external.
Yes, exactly. We have a mysterious and potentially dangerous love interest.
Ooh. Yeah.
A competition where it's life or death.
Right.
And a setting that's just dripping with atmosphere.
Don't forget the authentic representation of OCD.
Oh, that's right.
Which adds so much depth to the story.
Right.
And I just want to say again, the reviews are amazing.
Yeah, everyone's loving it.
They're not just praising the plot and the characters. They're talking about how this book made them feel.
Wow. I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
Me too.
Okay. I think we need to take a deep breath and maybe delve a little deeper into some of this stuff.
Yeah, let's unpack it.
Okay.
I'm especially interested in this whole key and heart mystery.
Yes.
And we need to talk more about the 9 circles of hell trials and how they're going to force Ophelia to make tough decisions.
Totally.
Yeah.
And of course, we have to discuss Blackwell more.
Yeah.
Like, what is his deal?
Right.
Is he friend? Is he foe?
Is he a lover?
Is he manipulator? I guess we'll have to keep reading to find out.
Sounds like a plan. You know, that mix of like historical and modern stuff in the world is super interesting.
Yeah.
It's like she made this world where time isn't really a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
You get that like Gothic Victorian vibe from the mansion and the clothes.
Right. Right.
But then there's cars and people's attitudes about, sex are more modern.
Yeah. It's a cool blend.
It really is.
And it makes you wonder, like, is she trying to tell us that it doesn't matter what time period it is?
Yeah.
Love and loss and sacrifice are always going to be there.
Exactly.
And speaking of timeless themes, these 9 circles of hell trials,
Ooh, yeah.
they're not your average fantasy challenge.
Not at all.
Each one is like a different sin.
Oh, I see.
Or moral failing.
Right.
So she's basically having to face down all of her, like, darkest impulses. Like, imagine having to go through trials based on lust.
Oh, gosh.
Gluttony. Greed.
That's heavy stuff.
It's like all the things we try to keep hidden.
Yeah.
It makes you think, how would you react?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, what would you be willing to compromise?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Because it's like she's holding up a mirror to human nature.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just Ophelia who has to face this.
Yeah.
Like, we're all reading this and having to kind of look at ourselves.
Our own capacity for darkness.
Exactly. And remember that bargain that she made with Blackwell?
Oh, yeah. 10 years of her life.
10 years of her life if she fails.
Mm.
So, like, suddenly the stakes are even higher.
Yeah.
Her choices are even more difficult.
Exactly. And that brings us back to Blackwell.
Right. What is his deal?
Like, is he really trying to help her?
Yeah.
Or is he using her?
Yeah.
Because he's so mysterious and powerful
Mm-hmm.
and so possessive.
I know.
And the touch her and die thing,
Yeah.
I mean, it's hot,
Oh, yeah.
but it's also kind of scary.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, is it real concern?
Right.
Or is he controlling?
It's hard to tell.
And, like, what are his motives?
Yeah.
Is he attracted to her because she's so strong?
Mm-hmm.
Or does he think he can manipulate her?
Right. Because she's vulnerable in a way.
Yeah, and I gotta say, the readers are loving this.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, they love the tension
Oh, for sure.
between them.
That push and pull.
Yes.
All the slow burn romance
Mm-hmm.
beneath all the danger. It's like Beauty and the Beast almost.
Oh, totally.
But will he be redeemed by her love?
Oh.
Or will he bring her down with him?
I don't know. I can't wait to find out.
I know, it's so good. And remember the key in the heart.
Yeah, the symbols.
I'm starting to think that they're like clues
Okay.
to figure out what's really going on with Blackwell and with Phantasma. Like maybe the key is power and the heart is love.
Yeah.
Or sacrifice. It's like she's giving us these hints.
Right.
But we have to put them all together. And what about the author's note about OCD? It's not just a plot point.
Right.
She really took the time to portray it accurately.
That's awesome.
People are really praising her for that.
Yeah.
Which makes me think she must have done a lot of research.
Yeah.
And the fact that readers are responding so well to it tells me that we need more of that in books.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's not just about being entertained. It's about understanding.
Creating empathy.
Exactly.
And by showing Ophelia's struggle with OCD honestly, she's helping people understand it better and showing that people with mental health challenges can be strong and resilient and loving just like anyone else.
And that's such an important message, especially for younger people who might be struggling too.
Yeah.
They'll read this and realize they're not alone.
Absolutely.
And that it's okay to feel the way they feel.
Right.
And it also makes Ophelia a more interesting character.
Oh, for sure.
Because she's not just perfect.
Right.
She's got these flaws.
She's human.
Yeah. And it makes her more relatable.
And more admirable.
Exactly. Because she's overcoming these challenges.
Yeah.
And that takes a really skilled writer to pull that off.
Yeah.
Like to create a good plot and romance, but also weave in these deeper things.
And make you care about the characters.
Yeah, and it seems like Smith did a great job.
She really did. And the reviews are amazing.
Oh, yeah. What are some of the things people are saying?
Oh, they're calling it addictive. A page-turner. Emotionally gripping.
Wow.
They're totally invested in what's going to happen to Ophelia.
Okay, let's get back on track here.
All right.
We don't want to get too lost in speculation. So we know for sure, Haunted Mansion in New Orleans.
Check.
Deadly competition.
Yes.
The winner gets a wish.
Yes.
Mysterious love interest who may or may not be dangerous.
Could go either way.
And a strong female lead who is battling her own demons.
Don't forget the 9 Circles of Hell trials.
Oh, that's right.
Which are going to be intense.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And the key in the heart.
Yes. What is going on with those symbols?
I need to know.
We're like detectives. We're trying to put all the pieces together.
And that's the fun part.
It is.
Even if we think we have it figured out, there's always more.
Just like a good book.
Exactly.
Speaking of good books, we're going to wrap up this Phantasma deep dive.
Okay.
With one final question.
All right, hit me.
What would you wish for?
Ooh.
If you won Phantasma?
That is a great question.
It really makes you think, huh?
It does. What is the true cost of a wish?
Right.
Well, you should save that discussion for next time.
Ooh, a cliffhanger.
I know. Got to keep them coming back.
I like it. All right, so we are back, ready to finish up our deep dive into Phantasma.
Lots to talk about.
We've covered a lot, yeah.
Yeah, from the dark fantasy and romance all mixed together to that super cool New Orleans setting.
It's perfect.
It is.
With all the atmosphere. And we've talked about Ophelia. She's so strong, and I really relate to her.
Me too.
She's battling her own demons at the same time as she's dealing with all this crazy stuff in the Haunted Mansion.
Right, and we can't forget about Blackwell.
Oh my gosh, Blackwell.
We're all a little obsessed with him.
Yeah, is he good? Is he bad?
We don't know.
He's a phantom. He's dangerous. But there's something about him.
I know. He's got that something.
And then the 9 Circles of Hell trials.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is intense.
It really is.
Each one is like a test for her.
And for us as readers,
yeah,
too. Like, what would we do?
Right. And they really make you think about the dark side of human nature. We were talking about the key and the heart, too. What do those symbols mean?
It's got to be important.
It has to be.
Like, maybe they're the key to the whole mystery.
Right. To figure out what's really going on. So now I think it's time to step back.
Okay.
And look at the big picture. Like, what is Phantasma really trying to say? What's the message here? What do you think?
Well, I think one of the most important things is that love and hope can exist even in the darkest places.
That's beautiful. And it's true.
Ophelia's going through so much.
Right.
But she never gives up.
She keeps fighting.
Yeah, because she loves her sister.
Right.
And she believes that even when things are bad, there's still good out there.
I think we all need to hear that sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Because life can be hard.
It can.
And we all face challenges. But there's always hope.
And there's always love.
And I think another big takeaway is that every choice we make matters.
Oh, for sure.
Because Ophelia is constantly having to make these impossible decisions.
Yeah, and they all have huge consequences.
Right. And it reminds us that every choice we make shapes our lives.
Every single one.
Big or small.
And sometimes we have to make sacrifices.
Yeah, Ophelia is willing to risk everything for her sister.
Yeah, she's selfless.
It really makes you think about what you would do for the people you love.
What are you willing to give up?
But it's not all sad and serious.
No.
Because there's also this really empowering message.
Yes.
About Ophelia taking control of her life.
She's not a victim.
No, she's a fighter.
She's a survivor.
She's not letting her circumstances define her. And of course, we can't forget the romance.
Lawrence Blackwell.
The Phantom.
He might be dangerous. But their chemistry is undeniable.
And you're just waiting to see what happens.
Right. Will they end up together? Or will he break her heart?
It's so good.
I know. It's that perfect blend of danger and seduction.
Yeah, like you're getting the thrills, but also all the feels.
It's so good. So if you're looking for a book that's going to stay with you.
Oh, yeah.
Long after you finish it.
Phantasma.
Is it?
This is the book for you.
It will challenge you.
It'll make you think.
And make you feel everything.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
So we'll leave you with one last question.
Okay.
What would you wish for?
If you won Phantasma.
What dreams would you chase? What would you sacrifice?
What would you do to change your life? That's something to think about. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up.
Right.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Phantasma.
It was so fun.
I know, I love this book.
Until next time, keep reading.
Keep exploring.
And keep diving deep.